Hello, thank you for your interest in becoming a Global Health Corps African Fellow. My name is Faith, and I'm excited to guide you through the application process. Before we begin the application, it is crucial to research the Global Health Corps African Fellowship Program thoroughly by visiting our official website at ghccorps.org. Becoming an African Fellow is an incredible opportunity to contribute to global health and make a meaningful impact. So let's get started. If you already have an account with Global Health Corps, just enter your email address and password to log in. If you have forgotten your password, there is a tab here. You can click on Forgot Your Password and they will send you in details of how you can reset your password. However, if you're a new applicant, you need to go through the sign-in process. So click on Sign Up to create an account. Next is the sign up page where we'll need to input our email address and password for the new applicants. Next is to input our password. Next tab is about confirming the same password above. Then click on sign up. Once that has been done, you're going to go to the home page of the application where we'll need to create a profile. So let's click on create a profile. Under creating a profile, we need to enter our full name, that is the first and last name. Under here, then you click on create profile. Once the profile has been created, we'll then move on to getting our application started. So let's click on get started. We'll be taken to the application page. However, there's crucial information here that we all need to take note of before we start our application process. Here goes. So thank you for your application, the 2024-2025 Global Health Corps Fellowship class. Your application is being reviewed independently for each of the roles to which you applied. To see your status on each role, click Open next to Fellowship Role Selection below. Applicants will receive status updates, 1. by mid-March, whether they've been invited to a semi-finalist interview with Global Health Corps, 2. by early April, whether they've been selected for a finalist interview with a placement organization, and 3. in late April through late May on a rolling-in basis where they've received a fellowship offer. Please refer to the Global Health Corps website for detailed information about the fellowship program, including fellowship benefits and logistics. If you have questions that are not addressed on the frequently asked questions page, please email applyinfo@ghccorps.org. So kindly take note of that information as it is crucial to this application process. Another thing to take note of, is you cannot edit your application once it has been submitted. By clicking submit, you verify that all information provided in this application is accurate and is your original work. Any misinformation or plagiarism will result in the disqualification of your application. So please let's take note of that while we are applying. Under our application process, we have 4 sections that we need to fill. And these 4 sections, section A has background information and essays, B is fellowship role selection, C is reference information, and D is skills and experiences survey. So let's start by opening background information and essays. Click open. We'll be taken to the background information and essays, which has other subsections that we need to fill out. And the first subsection is about personal information, which gives us first name, last name, preferred name, email address, phone number, birth year, birth month, birthday, and the current location, the country in which you're residing, and the city. Also, it gives us the citizenship status of the applicant. Please note that please select the countries of which you are a citizen or a legal permanent resident. So as an applicant, you come and select all that applies to your status. Then after selection, you're going to come and upload proof of citizenship of the country selected above. And this proof of citizenship can be a passport or a national ID or a birth certificate. And one thing to take note of is these documents that are going to be uploaded should be up to date, not expired. The next section we have is demographic information, where we need to know your sex. Are you female or male? The gender that applies to you as a person. Then your race or ethnicity that applies to you as an applicant. We have also geographic region. Where are you based currently? Are you in a rural or urban or city? So you select all that applies to you. In the next section is going to be global health experience. The questions that you're going to need to answer to help guide us better. The first question is, have you ever worked in global health? So you click on the answer and you click on the drop down and you'll be given options that you'll select one that will apply to you. The next section is, have you ever studied global health? Click on the drop down and you get options and you select one that applies to you. The next section is about applying to GHC. The first question there is, were you in contact with a member of the Global Health Core community? It could be a fellow, an alumni, staff, or intern before or during your decision to apply to the fellowship program. So you select what applies to you, a yes or a no. The next question is, how did you learn about Global Health Corps? Click on the drop down and select what applies to you. Have you previously applied to Global Health Corps? You select yes or no. However, point to note is your answer will not affect your candidacy. Many of our current fellows applied in previous years before being selected. So please take note of that as you're answering this section. So the other section that we have, move on, is the languages that we speak. And the proficiency that we speak these languages or understand them. So you come to the drop down and select the language that you speak. If the language is not listed below, you click on other and then you come and input the language that you speak. Then move on onto the proficiency of the language that you speak. It could be a basic proficiency, just limited working experience, professional working experience, or full. So you click on what applies to you and we move on to the next one. So you can list as many as 3 languages. Our next section to fill is the education background. Do you hold a bachelor's degree or a master's, or do you have an additional degree? In this section, you're going to need the institution of the school that you had your degree, the year that you graduated, the type of degree that you have, and the focus of your study. Once you filled in that, you need to come and select to upload proof of your education background, so your certificate in the degree that you selected above. You come and upload it here. Our next section is going to be employment. So once we reach this section, you're going to need to know the kind of employment history that you have, where you have worked. Are you currently employed? And if yes, where are you employed? What title do you hold? What sector of work are you in and the organization? If you have any volunteer work that you've done, kindly fill it in this section as well. If you're an intern, please fill in this section as well. If you're not employed, please click on no, select no, and then you'll be moved forward. So you can put as many as 3 roles. Our next section is going to be uploading our resume or CV. And one thing to note is your CV must be 2 pages long. Applicants with CVs that are more than 2 pages will be disqualified. Kindly take note of this information so that when you're applying your CV, it is 2 pages maximum. So you come and select here and then you apply your CV. It can be in Word or PDF. Then the next section after the CV is about the personal essays. And these are questions that you're going to ask you to help us understand you better as an applicant. So the first question that you're going to have to answer is, why do you want to be a Global Health Corps Fellow? You'll note that you are given a maximum of 200 words. So you're going to put your information here to help us understand you better and why you want to become a fellow. The next question is, think of a time when you did not reach a project or assignment goal in a job, internship, or volunteer role. What was the goal? Why did you fail to achieve it? And what did you learn from that experience? You will notice that we have a maximum of 300 words in this section. Then our third question is, describe a time when you identified a social problem and took action to make a change. What did you do and what did you learn? And in this section, you'll notice we have a maximum of 250 words. So the next step, and this is I think the conclusion for the first section, section A of background information and essays, is 1. Confirm availability for the fellowship. So you need to note that the Global Health Fellowship is a full-time commitment from July 2nd through to July 31st, 2020, July 2nd, 2024 through to July 31st, 2025. All prior academic or professional commitments that would interfere with the workday must be completed before July 2nd, 2024. When you click this tab here, this button, you confirm that you have read and understood the above statement. Kindly double check that your files have been successfully uploaded to this page. Save this form and complete the rest of the application. So once you've put in the information, you can come and save this as a draft where you can come back later and edit whatever information that you want to edit before we move forward. So click on Save Draft. Once it has been saved forward, we will go back, scroll back up, and you click here on Untitled. Once you submit your application, this title here, Untitled, will change and your name will be displayed here. So let's click on Untitled. So we're finished inputting information for the background essays and information. If you feel there's information that you need to edit before you submit, you come and click Open, and then you go back and edit some of the information. So our next step, our next section is fellowship role selection. Let's click on Open. Be taken to the fellowship role selection. Your status for each role will be updated below as it's available. If there is any action for you to complete, you will see a web link or URL to click or copy or paste into a new web browser tab. As a reminder, descriptions for each role are available at this link here. So you click on this link to get to the roles that you want to apply for. If you're selected as a finalist in any role, click the view icon for that role and you see the name, email address, and background information of a JHC alumni. This person has volunteered to answer your questions about their general experience during and after the fellowship between now and 12th April. So send them an email if you would like. So key to note is we are required to apply for a minimum of 1 role and a maximum of 2 roles. To continue to the application of the roles, we're going to click on New Item. We'll be taken to the application page. Your status for this role will be updated below as it's available. If there is an action for you to complete, you'll see a web link. Copy and paste it into a new browser tab. As a reminder, descriptions of each fellowship role are available at this link here. The first question you're going to note is, please select the country or countries of which are a citizen or a legal permanent resident. So you come down here and select what applies to you. Once you select the country that applies to you or countries, you'll be given a tab that has all the eligible roles for citizens in that country. You click on the drop down and you come and pick the role that applies to you. Please remember that all role descriptions are at this link here. So once you go to this link, look at the roles that you want to apply for, then you'll be able to come down here and select the role code that you will input here. Once you've selected that role code, please take note, make sure to select the correct role based on the role codes listed on the website. The next question is, why are you applying for this particular role and what skills or experience qualify you for this role? You're going to input here information that applies to this question, why you applied and why you are applying and what skills you have. Please note, we have a maximum of 200 words. The third question is, what is the main reason you selected the fellowship role over others in the same function area or skill set? So you come down here and select all that apply to you. Once you've finished that, you can save as a draft. Note there is a delete button here. In case you feel you want to change or delete this entire section, you simply have to select delete. However, once you've done selecting the role that you want, you come and save it as a draft. Then we shall scroll up and go back to fellowship role selection. So let's click fellowship role selection. It will take us back to the fellowship role selection, and you will note that we have our role open here, one of the roles that we've applied for. However, it is still in draft since we haven't yet submitted it. So if you feel you want to apply for another role, you come and select new items. Point to note is you're only allowed to apply for 2 roles. So we can click again, add new item. We'll be taken back through the same process where we need to select our country or countries. The last time we selected Malawi. However, in this instance, let me assume you have a dual citizenship and you select Kenya as well. So once you select Kenya, you come and click on the drop down. You'll be given roles that apply to Kenyan nationals and you click on the role that you want to apply for. Please remember to have visited our website using this link to look at the job descriptions for the roles that you're applying for and to get the right role code. So once you put in the role code, you come and input your information why you're applying for this role and the experience and skills that you have for the role. Same goes for this section, the reason as to why you selected that role over others. You come and select what applies to you, then you save it as a draft. If you feel that you've completed this, you can mark it as complete. But for purposes of this application, I'm going to save it as a draft. Once you've saved it as a draft, you can go back to the role selection page, click here, and we'll be taken back to our page here, you will notice there is a prompt here that says you have reached your limit of 2 items. So this means that we only are allowed to apply to a maximum of 2 rows and a minimum of 1 row. Once this has been completed, let's go back to our main application form. So we have completed the background information essay, then the fellowship selection section. So let's move on to the reference information. Click on open. The GHC recommendation form is a required part of the fellowship application. It is your responsibility to select a reference and ensure that GHC recommendation form is completed on your behalf by January 24th, 2024. To add a reference, click the blue New Request button below. Once your request has been sent to your reference, you can check this page to view status of your request and whether your reference has completed the form or not. If you need to update your reference's email or need to choose a new reference, you need to click Delete next to your reference's name and then add a new request in its place. Please note that we will only accept one recommendation form with your application. If you encounter any trouble with this process, email us at applyinfo@ghccorp.org. So key points to note here. One recommender is requested by GHC and the recommendation form should be completed by 24th of January 2024. So to add a reference for our recommendation, we click to New Request. We come and input, fill in this information, the reference first name, next, and we can put the reference email address. Note to reference. Please write a short note that will be sent to your reference with general instructions for completing the GHC recommendation form. Consider explaining why you're applying to GHC, which roles you're applying for, and any information that may be helpful to them as they complete your recommendation form. So in this area, you're going to input information that you feel your recommender should know before they write a reference for you, a recommendation letter for you. And as advised in the above, you can put the roles that you've applied for and the reasons as to why you're applying for those roles or to GHC. Once that has been completed, important, should I click Save Draft or Send? When you click Send, below an email will automatically be sent to the reference email address provided above with instructions for completing the recommendation form. If you have not confirmed your reference's availability or email address, please click Save Draft for now and return later to update the form. If the email to your reference will come from no reply at webportal.app.com, subject line GHC recommendation form request. If your reference does not receive the email or has trouble completing the online form, please ask them to email applyinfo@ghccorps.org. You can view the status of your recommendation form by scrolling to the top of this page and clicking See Reference Information to return to the previous page where you will see if and when the form was submitted by your reference. So this is important information to note. Once you click Send here, your reference personnel is going to receive an email from GHC requesting them to write a recommendation letter for you. Once they receive that, they should be able to reply. If they're not able to, then they can send that recommendation form directly to applyinfo@ghccorps.org. However, if you don't have the information or the details for your reference person, you can save it as a draft, get that information, then come back and fill in before you click send. So for purposes of our application, I'm going to click save draft. Then we scroll back up and go back to reference information. You will notice our reference information has come here. So if you need to edit any information under this reference personnel information, you click on edit, then you go change the information. If you need to delete this information, you delete this and then you can request a new one that you can fill out, but once you've deleted this one. So let's go back to our main application. Click on title. Scroll down. And then our last section is skills and experiences survey. So let's click on open. Skills and experience. If you do not advance in the roles for which you apply, GHC may consider you for other fellowship roles. If an opportunity arises that matches your qualification, if you would like to opt out of this opportunity, please select no below. You will be able to review any new role to confirm your interest. So in this section, you may apply for 2 roles or 1 role that you're interested in. However, you don't qualify for that role. But when you come to this section, you may have the qualities for another role that you do not apply to, and maybe GHC may want to consider you for that role. So in this case, if you want to be considered for another role that you did not apply to, you come and say, yes, consider me for other opportunities that arise. If you do not want to be considered for that, you simply click on no, I am only interested in the roles I selected. So if we click on yes, consider me, we will further be given more information to fill in as to what experiences that we have regarding different roles. So we are going to need to come and fill in information regarding the experience that we have in areas of communication and advocacy. There will be questions that you'll be asked. Then under areas of monitoring and evaluation, you still input or fill in information here. You'll notice that if you click on the drop downs, they give you some of the answers or information that pertains to you. So you simply select. Then the next subsection is areas of fundraising and development. You still fill in, put in the information that's being asked. Then informatics and IT knowledge management. And so, yeah, I think that is it. So once you fill in that information, you come down here. Are you comfortable living in a rural setting? So you choose one. So once you've chosen what applies to you, you simply come and can mark it as complete, or for purposes of our application, we save it as a draft. Once you've saved it as a draft, we'll go back to our main application here. Go back to our main application form. So you will note that we had 4 sections and all these sections have been filled. So key points to note. Once you want to submit, once you've done everything that you feel you've done for the application, you simply go back to that section that you want to fill in, and if you feel that everything is correct to the best of your knowledge, you simply mark it as complete. Once you mark it as complete, this information is going to be submitted. And remember, at the beginning of our application process, I noted that once you submit an application, you cannot edit any information that you have submitted. So please make sure that you go through everything that you've filled in for your application before you submit on each and every section here. So we have 4 sections, and all the 4 sections have to be filled in and then submitted. Once you've submitted that, GHC will receive your application and it will be reviewed, and then the next steps will be sent to you via your email address, or you can simply log in into the application website and follow up with your application process. So thank you so much for giving me this time. I wish you all the best of luck in your application. Bye-bye.